So back in the day, before we had the hops button to be our indicator button, we had this logo. So once I enable it, you probably won't see it, but it's right here. And back in the day, this was kind of our indicator button to just kind of indicate statuses in hops, which is not actually used for that anymore. In fact, a couple of times the discussions came up to actually remove it, but lately I've become a big fan of this button, of this older hops drawing logo that you could stick on screen and just keep up permanently. And this button really didn't do a whole lot. It was just a indicator of just letting you know if your shape was an undefined shape, which is gray, or a bowl shape, which is a shape that gets a different cue menu. So if we go in Box Cutter and we just draw a box after selecting the shape, and we press L for live, and we select the shape, you can see that the logo's green. And we added preferences for people to be able to adjust the opacity of it whenever it's in this green state, but it never really had much of a purpose beyond that. So because of a recent resurgence in interest in the logo, which I was always a big fan of, I've just been making it humongous on my screen as just a way of being sarcastic. But on this side, we can see that now I'm running the latest version. And as I use Box Cutter, you can see the logo will now change colors according to the state. I can press X and jump it over to slice. I can press X again and jump it over to inset. Press T and adjust my thickness, and the logo is just a little more indicative. So it's something that's just a little bit more experimental. Of course, this is something that I'm not recommending to anyone. It's just there as just a way of enhancing the old version. Koei put a little bit of work into making a Box Cutter version of the logo that it never went to use, so it just kind of hit me, why not just put that thing to work and actually make it an indicator for Box Cutter to just help it be a little more assistive. So if it's able to help you, then I'm interested to see what other ideas you have for it. But there's more purposes and plans that I have for this logo going forward, but having it be indicative of Box Cutter being in action is definitely useful, especially in cases where you're possibly working in a computer slow and you're not sure if you applied the operation or it finished. So it's actually set up to only show up if Box Cutter is flagged to be running. So at the moment that the execute is complete, it switches back over to hops, which is exactly the way I figured a collaborative logo like this would be.